Today I've got a quick bass lesson, and this is for the main riff of my song Pro Tempore, and that was the song I wrote for the last Prog School lesson. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and do that now. And this is the main riff that's kind of the driving force behind the verses. And I'll play that real quick for you. And it's a pretty simple riff, but there's a lot of syncopation going on, and I think there's some tiny details in how to play it that can make it stand out a little bit more. So we'll take a look at the notes, and this is all right out of F sharp Phrygian. So we've got F sharp, the second fret of the low E string. Now keep in mind, you don't have to have a 5 string to play this. I have a 5 string bass here. There are other parts of the song that use the low, I guess in my case, A string, because I have it tuned, the low string tuned down to A. But if you have a 4 string, you can play this just fine. There's nothing on this particular riff that uses the low string. So we have the second fret of the E string, open, 3rd fret, and back to the second. Then I pedal on that 2nd fret a few more times. Then I do an octave jump. So from the 2nd fret of the E string to the 4th fret of the D string. And that's a pretty common move in bass riffs. Think about a lot of the guys who play slap bass, people like Flea, and also like Geddy Lee does that kind of stuff a lot as well. So it's a pretty common thing to hear in bass riffs. It kind of just changes up the tone and timbre of the riff a little bit to jump octaves. So keep that in mind when you're writing bass parts, that sometimes it's really cool to have the same note just jump up or down an octave. So from there, you get the second half. 2, 0, 2, 3, 5, 7. That's all on the low E string. And then 5th fret of the A string. So there's the whole riff. Now, a couple things I'm trying to do here. Depending on where it is in the song, I'm going to dig in a different amount. So in the beginning, it's much softer. Right? And then later on in the song where there's parts where it's doubled, this riff is doubled with heavy electric guitars, we're going to dig in more. Get a little bit more of that bite. I actually have a different tone too when I'm playing the heavier parts, but also the way I'm playing affects that as well. And a couple other things here is I'm really kind of accenting these, I guess, syncopated rhythms. Ba-da, right? Like on that higher octave, that note is really accented. And that just kind of brings a little more flavor to this riff. I'm also holding most of the notes. So I'm letting the notes that last longer hold all the way through. And so you get this contrast between the parts that are where I'm digging in and it's more rhythmic, and then the notes are holding over to create that atmosphere. All right, so that's pretty much everything on that riff. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. If you're a guitar player and you haven't played bass, I think this is probably a good riff to pick up because it's simple and not terribly demanding, but it's very bass. It's very much a bass riff, right? I was trying to write something that wasn't like, here's a guitar player writing a bass riff. I wanted it to be very much something that an actual bass player would play, modeled after, I think, like Porcupine Tree. A lot of those songs, Porcupine Tree songs where the bass takes the lead. Like I'm thinking of the song 3 off of In Absentia. There's also Hate Song. And there's a bunch of other Porcupine Tree songs. But I really like that idea of having the bass be the lead. So go ahead and give this one a go if you'd like. Obviously the tabs are on screen, but you can pick up the tabs for this on my Bandcamp and also my Gumroad as well, which is my official store. And till next time, stay proggy.